Shakespeare and Hemingway both creatively reimagined Aristotle's tragic hero model in their respective narratives through the introduction of an antagonist to the THM to reveal how prejudice and hierarchical status is utilized to manipulate and distort the value of truth and racial equality in both time periods. In combination, Shakespeare uses his narrative writing to unveil fatal flaws in humankind when manipulated by the antagonist Iago, and Hemingway in interrogating the media's influence as an antagonist in provoking racial inequality in society. Shakespeare interrogates the value of truth and jealousy provoked by racial prejudice and the significance of social hierarchical status in the Elizabethan England era through introducing to the THM the devious antagonist Iago to unveil Othello's Hamasha, ultimately leading to his downfall. Shakespeare was able to unveil Othello's insecurity of his social status and race through Iago's explicit stereotypical views of Othello as a lascivious Moor and the devil, through incorporating bestial imagery to juxtapose the blackness of Othello's skin to Desdemona's white and innocent nature, provoking Othello's Hamasha of jealousy. Further, the motif of Othello's trust in the honest Iago, noted numerous times throughout the play, highlights Iago's duplicitous manipulation, which exposes Othello's second element of Hamasha in his all-too-trusting nature of Iago's web of lies, further unveiling his jealousy and insecurity in himself and thus in his marriage. Exploiting his insecurity, Shakespeare utilizes Othello's deteriorating language, seen in a shift from his eloquent speech of verse in My Very Noble and Approves Good Masters into fragmented prose in Is It Lost, Is It Gone, to mirror his deteriorating mental state as he gives into his hamasha of trusting too greatly in Iago's manipulation. In summary, Shakespeare's characterization and introduction to the THM, the devious antagonist Iago, provokes the audience into interrogating the distortion of truth in his narrative Othello. In The People vs. O.J. Simpson, Hemingway interrogates the influence media outlets have on racial equality in America following the 1992 LA riots through subverting the THM through introducing the media as an antagonist to provoke and highlight discrimination against outcasts in society. The docudrama opens with real media archival footage of the 1992 LA riots, which are sparked by the systemic inequality towards African Americans. The violent archival footage taken by the media not only highlights the real-life passion of society towards fighting for racial equality, but also the media's broadcasting and further separating the two races as enemy sides, through portraying African Americans as particularly dangerous. O.J.'s case was one of the first to be publicised avidly by the media, where Hemingway narrowed in on the media's portrayal of O.J. in making him look blacker than he is in photos to provoke society into further divide based on skin colour, and portraying the African American race as more dangerous purely based on the colour of their skin. The motif of showing multiple over-the-shoulder shots of newspaper articles further sprung society into a divide in believing in the value of racial equality, as the media as an antagonist focused solely on the case being based around race and how the systemic racial inequality being experienced in the context of the LA riots is the basis of O.J.'s case. Moreover, Hemingway highlights how the media's portrayal of the court case acts as an antagonist through provoking racial inequality as it sprung protesters to a face-off. The protests include multiple midshots which are used to compare the clear divide between African Americans and white people based on the context of treatment at the time, and the media's portrayal of the clear battle between the overwhelming amount of physical evidence and the race case. Conclusively, both Shakespeare and Hemingway utilize the power of their narratives through introducing an antagonist in the tragic hero model to disclose how racial prejudice and hierarchical status is utilized to manipulate and distort racial equality and truth in their respective time periods.